Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on an extraordinary exploration, one that really promises to shed new light on history, society, and the very essence of human connection.
That's right.
We're not just skimming the surface here. We're delving deep into a wellspring of wisdom that has profoundly shaped billions of lives across centuries and honestly continues to inspire transformation even now.
It really is an opportunity, isn't it, to understand principles that are just as vital today as they were when they were first revealed. These teachings offer a kind of blueprint, not just for how individuals should act, but really for the construction of entire civilizations.
That's right. And our journey today takes us through a really powerful source. Excerpts from Nabi Akram ki Talimat, Rahmatul-lil-Alamin ka Paigam.
Which translates to...
It means teachings of Prophet Muhammad, message of mercy to all worlds. And this isn't just some dusty historical document. It's really a living testament to a vision of humanity that was, frankly, radical back then and remains incredibly relevant now.
And that phrase, mercy to all worlds, that's particularly significant, you see.
Right.
It really underscores the universal nature of these teachings, their positive impact on, well, all aspects of existence across all communities, far beyond just one place or time.
Absolutely. So our mission today, for you listening, is to pull out the most potent insights from this material. We want to offer you a shortcut, maybe, to being deeply informed about a belief system that fundamentally altered the course of human events.
Bringing you those surprising facts, those aha moments.
Exactly. Things that we hope will really resonate. Get ready to see how one message delivered centuries ago became the very foundation for countless societies and profound personal transformations.
I will be connecting these ancient insights with, contemporary challenges, helping you grasp not just what was taught, but why it continues to offer solutions and resonate so powerfully today.
Okay, so to begin this deep dive, let's turn our attention to what is arguably the most foundational teaching, the most transformative one, Tawhid.
Tawhid. Yeah.
The absolute oneness of God. I mean, just try to imagine a world steeped in superstition, fragmented by idolatry, where division and conflict were just normal.
Commonplace.
And into that environment comes this revolutionary idea, an idea that didn't just challenge things, it utterly shattered those old molds.
It's a concept that, at its core, is remarkably simple, yet it's just incredibly profound in its implications. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, brought humanity out of this kind of spiritual ignorance into light by unequivocally proclaiming that God is one.
Not just a religious idea, though.
No, not at all. It was a profound social, psychological, and spiritual revolution. The Quran establishes the singular nature so clearly. It declares, "And your God is one God. There's no deity except him, the most gracious, the most merciful." That verse just directly dismantles any notion of multiple gods, sets a clear standard.
And it wasn't just for scholars, right? He explicitly linked this core belief to tangible, really personal outcomes for people. We find it in the Hadith, his sayings, this powerful affirmation. Whoever says, "There is no God but Allah alone, without any partner. To him belongs the dominion, and to him belongs all praise, and he is over all things competent," will enter paradise.
Wow.
It speaks to the immense power of just saying those words, believing them for personal salvation, for inner peace, for, having a clear sense of purpose.
And before this message, well, society, especially in the Arabian Peninsula, it was just riddled with idol worship, polytheism.
Right.
Each tribe often had its own set of deities, enshrined in idols. This led to constant rivalries, conflicts, a deeply fractured social fabric. Loyalty was mostly just to your own kin.
So that idea of a shared humanity under one God just wasn't really there.
Largely absent, yeah. It fostered this cycle of animosity, each group thinking their gods were superior,
So the proclamation of Tawhid must have been like a societal earthquake, sweeping away all those ancient divisive practices.
Absolutely. And the really profound insight of Tawhid is its elegance, you could say. Its simplicity as a universal dissolver of social hierarchy.
How so?
Well, by shifting the sole focus of worship to one creator, it just rendered all those earthly claims of superiority, birth, wealth, tribe, totally baseless.
Oh, okay.
If everyone acknowledges one creator, it inherently levels the playing field.
Right.
Establishes this immediate foundation for equality, for inner peace. It just eradicated that deep-seated tribalism, replaced it with a shared identity under one God.
Fostering a kind of universal brotherhood.
Exactly. Where everyone's equal in their servitude to the same divine.
And this isn't just history. I mean, today, Billions of people find profound solace and unity in this exact belief. In a world often driven by materialism, divisive ideas, Tawhid offers this powerful counter-narrative, a reminder of a universal bond, a common origin, a call to transcend those superficial differences, look beyond the temporary.
And for you, the listener, our source suggests a simple but really profound practice: the daily recitation of the Kalima Tayyiba, that declaration of faith, La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah.
It's not just words, though.
No, not just rote repetition. It's a conscious daily shield against idolatry, both the obvious kinds and the subtle ones, like materialism. It helps you connect to a deeper sense of universal peace, belonging, constantly reaffirming that central truth.
And this teaching, it laid the groundwork for a global community, right? The Ummah, where identity was based on faith, not tribe.
Which dramatically reduced internal conflict, fostered a shared purpose far beyond what was previously imaginable.
And it also promotes intellectual freedom, doesn't it? By questioning old beliefs, encouraging rational thought about creation, like observe, think, understand the signs.
Precisely. It's not just blind faith, it's reasoned belief. Ultimately, this isn't just theology, it's about the very architecture of human connection, of peace. It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
How does that unity and belief impact societal harmony, even in our incredibly diverse world today?
That's a great question. Okay, moving on. Let's get into something really personal, but also profoundly societal. Our character.
A clock.
Ah, yes, a clock. Prophet Muhammad's teachings weren't just about belief. They were a masterclass in how to live. This deep dive shows how he laid down this blueprint for exemplary human character, which then became this unshakable pillar of society.
He taught that character, akhlaq, is the true measure of a person, emphasizing virtues like mercy, truthfulness, patience, forgiveness, integrity, these core things.
And it was central, wasn't it?
So central that the Quran itself praises him directly. And indeed, you are of a great moral character. That's a direct divine testament to his conduct, not just privately, but in every public dealing, a living embodiment.
And here's something that really struck me, his mission statement. He explicitly said, I was sent only to perfect noble character.
Exactly.
That wasn't an afterthought, was it? It was the core of his message, elevating ethics to this central status.
Absolutely crucial. And before Islam, many societies, especially there, were characterized by a certain, roughness, barbarism even. Tribal feuds were constant, and there wasn't much universal compassion for the vulnerable. Vengeance was common. Kindness often stopped at your own tribe. That idea of universal dignity wasn't really there. It was harsh.
And his teachings, his example, just transformed that.
Completely. His life became this living illustration of mercy, truthfulness, incredible patience, profound forgiveness. He actively taught and embodied things like forgiving enemies, loving orphans, always speaking truth even when it was hard. A total revolution in social norms.
So it shifted society from, wild abandon?
Yeah, maybe self-interest, to one built on these deep ethical foundations. It elevated human interaction beyond just survival, focused on dignity, respect for everyone.
Right.
It cultivated this culture where inner purity and outer conduct were linked. Faith wasn't just rituals, it was how you treated your neighbor, your family, even your enemy. It set a moral compass for a whole civilization.
And these principles, they're still foundational today, aren't they? Universally recognized.
Absolutely.
Our source even reminds us of that practical hadith about anger. Anger is from Satan. That's still so relevant, isn't it? Centuries-old advice for managing our emotions, recognizing where unchecked anger leads.
Incredibly practical. So for you listening, this deep dive encourages a kind of conscious daily check-in on your own character.
Like what?
Maybe think about consciously showing kindness today. Using softer speech. These aren't small things. These deliberate actions can ripple outwards, create a more positive environment around you. It's about embodying that change.
Yeah, that emphasis on a clock really shows faith isn't just rituals. It's fundamentally about how you treat others, linking spiritual purity directly to social conduct.
Exactly. Your actions reflect your belief. He taught that a strong moral compass is the true strength, far beyond physical might or wealth.
Which makes you think.
Yes.
In our fast-paced world where empathy sometimes feels scarce, how vital is it for us to consciously cultivate these noble characteristics daily?
The crucial question for our times, definitely.
Okay, next up, social justice and equality, a topic that still resonates so powerfully today. Prophet Muhammad didn't just preach these values. He built an entire civilization around them, shattering old prejudices, creating a truly inclusive society.
He famously declared something utterly groundbreaking for his time. There is no superiority for an Arab over a non-Arab, nor for a non-Arab over an Arab, nor for a white over a black, nor for a black over a white, except by piety.
Wow. In a world built on tribalism and hierarchy.
Exactly. A truly astounding statement, declaring immediate universal equality that just transcended all those superficial differences.
And the Quran reinforces this, right? It says, "O humanity, we created you from a male and a female and made you into peoples and tribes so that you may get to know one another. The noblest of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous."
Right there. It highlights diversity as natural, for recognition, not division. And it explicitly puts piety, taqwa, God consciousness, moral uprightness as the only true measure of worth in God's eyes.
And before that, what was it like?
Society was just rife with discrimination based on race, lineage, status. Slavery was rampant, accepted. Women had minimal rights, if any. The poor were often marginalized, seen as lesser. Your birth pretty much decided your place.
But he didn't just talk about equality, he implemented it.
Actively, through concrete actions, laws. A powerful example is Hadrat Bilal, may Allah be pleased with him.
The Abyssinian slave.
Yes. Who endured so much, he was honored with giving the call to prayer, the azan, from the top of the Kaaba itself.
Wow.
A direct, visible, tangible rejection of racial and social hierarchy in the most sacred space.
That's incredible symbolism.
And the message systematically dismantled slavery. Not just talk, but creating pathways to freedom, demanding humane treatment. It granted unprecedented rights to women, established fundamental equality between rich and poor, emphasizing shared humanity. Piety is the only measure. It restructures society based on character, not birth.
And people still feel that today, right? Standing shoulder to shoulder in mosques, all distinctions gone, living under laws inspired by these principles.
Absolutely. These teachings are still foundational for discussions on human rights, anti-discrimination worldwide.
So for you, the listener, the source encourages a vital practice.
Yeah.
Never consider anyone inferior based on color, race, background. None of it.
It's a call to actively embody equality in your daily interactions. See the inherent dignity in everyone.
That emphasis on piety, taqwa over everything else, it directly challenged the old tribal structures, the class systems.
Created a true meritocracy based on moral and spiritual worth, not privilege. Taqwa as the sole determinant of superiority, that's a profound insight into character and true leadership.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a world still grappling with prejudice and inequality, how can that simple, revolutionary principle of equality through piety inspire us to build more genuinely inclusive communities today?
A question we absolutely need to keep asking.
All right, let's switch gears.
Yeah.
Something truly invigorating. The pursuit of knowledge. Imagine a time when literacy was rare, learning wasn't a widespread thing. Prophet Muhammad had turned that completely on its head, made seeking knowledge a sacred duty.
He declared so clearly, seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim male and female. Not just encouragement, a fundamental command, for everyone.
Every single person.
Yes. And what's even more striking, the very first command in the Quran given to the Prophet herself was, read in the name of your Lord who created.
Read, right from the start.
Exactly. That initial emphasis on reading, seeking knowledge from the very beginning just signaled its absolute importance.
Before that, the Arabian Peninsula was largely illiterate.
Pretty much. Formal learning wasn't widespread. Superstition, oral traditions often took the place of informed understanding. Knowledge was confined to a tiny elite, an intellectual darkness, you could say.
But his insistence on knowledge sparked this incredible era.
Unprecedented. The golden age of Islam. Scholars made monumental contributions: algebra, medicine, astronomy, philosophy, geography, building on ancient knowledge, innovating constantly. It profoundly impacted global civilization, reached Europe eventually.
And what's fascinating here wasn't just about religious texts, was it?
Not at all. It explicitly encompassed all fields of beneficial knowledge, encouraged inquiry into nature, math, engineering, everything. This holistic approach fostered universities, huge libraries, rigorous science. It shaped global civilization.
And that legacy continues?
Millions today benefit, studying in schools, universities, religious institutions worldwide, carrying that torch of learning. This teaching advocates for continuous intellectual growth, lifelong learning. Curiosity never ends.
So for you, the learner listening today, how does this translate? The source encourages a simple but powerful habit. Make an effort to learn something new every single day.
Keep that curiosity alive, whether it's history, science, a spiritual insight, a new skill. The pursuit itself is sacred.
And this concept of ilm, knowledge, it's holistic in Islam.
Remarkably so, sacred and secular sciences are connected. All knowledge ultimately leads back to understanding God's creation, his wisdom. This comprehensive view was crucial for building a sophisticated civilization, linking spiritual development with progress.
Which leads to the question, in our age of information overload, how can we cultivate a more deliberate, profound approach to learning? Really internalize that knowledge isn't just a tool, but a sacred obligation.
Finding depth in the deluge, that's the challenge.
Okay, let's dive into mercy and benevolence, Ram and Ihsan. Prophet Muhammad taught that true faith isn't just belief, it's active compassion and kindness towards all creation, especially the most vulnerable.
He taught you can't expect divine mercy if you don't show mercy yourself. A powerful hadith says, Allah does not show mercy to him who does not show mercy to others.
Wow, a direct link.
A two-way street starting with us, and the Quran urges us. And cooperate in righteousness and piety, but do not cooperate in sin and aggression. A blueprint for collective social responsibility, mutual support and good things.
And before that, the vulnerable orphans, widows, the poor, they were often just neglected.
Or exploited, yeah. Lacked a robust social safety net. Kindness was sporadic, not systemic. A harsh world for many.
But the Prophet, too, became this beacon of support.
Unparalleled. Championed their rights, integrated them into society, ensured their care, their dignity, and crucially, he established the systematic institution of zakat.
The obligatory charity.
Exactly. Designed to eradicate poverty, redistribute wealth, moving way beyond random acts of charity. It was structured, societal welfare, a pillar of the economic system.
So the truly transformative part wasn't just individual kindness.
Right. It established an entire framework for social welfare, ensured the community collectively cared for its weakest. Utterly revolutionary. Integrated compassion into the legal and economic structure.
And today, millions still give zakat, engage in charity, sadaqah.
Absolutely. Benefiting countless individuals, communities, through vast networks. These principles continue to inspire philanthropy, social welfare programs globally. Their impact endures.
So for you listening, the source offers a beautiful, actionable idea. Try to help someone every single day.
Even a small act. Kindness, encouragement, assistance, it embodies this profound teaching, makes a tangible difference, reflects that core principle of universal mercy.
That emphasis on Ram and Ihsan, it shows such a holistic understanding of faith, doesn't it? Integrating spiritual devotion with practical social responsibility.
Making compassion a cornerstone, and zakat. It stands as this early, sophisticated model for social security, wealth redistribution. Far ahead of its time, a sustainable approach to economic justice.
It really makes you think. In an era where individualism sometimes prevails, how can we consciously reintegrate collective mercy and systematic benevolence into our communities to better protect the vulnerable among us?
Rebuilding that sense of collective responsibility, vital.
Now for something truly revolutionary. The rights of women and the treatment of slaves. In a world where these groups often had little or no status, his message brought this profound restoration of human dignity.
The Quran established mutual rights and responsibilities between genders radical for the 7th century, and due to them, women is similar to what is expected of them, according to what is reasonable.
Mutual rights.
Yes. And the Prophet he taught, the best of you are those who are best to their women. A direct challenge to patriarchal norms, making treatment of women a benchmark for a man's character.
And for slaves?
Clear instructions, feed them from what you eat and clothe them from what you wear, an imperative for basic human dignity. Sharing resources, recognizing their humanity, which was often denied.
And before that, women were often considered property. Lacked inheritance, education, say in marriage. Female infanticide was common.
Shockingly common, yes. A chilling devaluation of female life. Slaves were chattel, no legal protections, at the complete mercy of owners, often enduring terrible cruelty.
But his teachings transformed this harsh reality.
Profoundly. Empowered women with rights, inheritance, education, marital choice. Actively worked to end female infanticide, affirming the value of every life. For slaves, established humane guidelines, encouraged care, and crucially opened numerous pathways to emancipation, leading eventually to the systematic abolition of slavery within the Islamic world.
So what stands out is this profound societal shift.
Absolutely. From voiceless and powerless to having protected rights, affirmed dignity, paving the way for their socioeconomic participation, fundamentally altering the moral landscape. It was institutionalized change.
And millions of women today still benefit from those foundational rights, inspiring movements for gender equality.
Yes. And the principles of treating the vulnerable with dignity remain crucial in discussions on human trafficking, labor rights, gender justice today, enduring relevance.
So for you, the listener, a very tangible practice. Actively show respect for women in your home, community, workplace.
A direct application of those teachings on dignity and equality, transforming principles into daily conscious actions.
Granting women rights to property, education. That laid the groundwork for their independence, didn't it? Radical for the time.
Astonishingly so.
Yeah.
And the systematic approach to emancipation, making it an atonement for sins, that shows a comprehensive moral strategy to address a huge societal issue, beyond just superficial reform.
Which makes us consider, how can these historical movements for dignity inspire us to continue challenging contemporary exploitation and inequality today, pushing for a more just world?
Using that historical precedent as fuel for current action.
Okay, let's pivot to something crucial for societal health. The prohibition of vices. Prophet Muhammad didn't just promote good. He actively discouraged practices that corroded individuals and communities, laid down clear guidelines that are still impactful.
The Quran is explicit. O you who have believed, indeed intoxicants, gambling, sacrificing on stone altars, and divining arrows are but defilement from the work of Satan, so avoid it that you may be successful. Clearly outlining what to avoid for well-being.
And he specifically warned about alcohol.
Strongly. Alcohol is the mother of all evils. A stark warning, highlighting the cascade of negative effects. A gateway to other harms.
And pre-Islamic Arabia was known for these vices: alcohol, gambling, usury, female infanticide.
Widespread indulgence, yes. Leading directly to social decay, economic exploitation, immense suffering, tearing communities apart.
So the teachings led to complete prohibition.
This systematic prohibition of alcohol, gambling, usury, this profoundly improved public health, enhanced economic stability by curbing exploitation, restored social order, and perhaps most critically, completely abolished female infanticide.
Saving countless lives.
And affirming the value of every human being, regardless of gender. A profound moral and social victory.
What's insightful here is that this wasn't just about moral purity.
No, it was profoundly pragmatic, building a healthy, stable, just society by systematically eliminating common sources of personal ruin and social discord, recognizing the ripple effects.
And the benefits of avoiding these vices? Alcohol, gambling, they're well documented today by science.
Extensively, demonstrating incredible foresight. And the prohibition of usury still informs Islamic finance, an alternative, ethical, economic model.
So for you listening, the source encourages a straightforward commitment. Actively recognize and avoid these vices.
It's a direct path to personal and communal well-being. A conscious choice for a healthier, more stable life grounded in ancient wisdom.
The interconnectedness of these prohibitions, it highlights a comprehensive ethical framework, doesn't it?
Protecting spiritual health, physical health, mental well-being, financial stability, societal cohesion, all of it. And the emphasis on protecting life, especially ending infanticide, underscores that deep respect for human dignity from birth.
It prompts the question. In a world where many of these vices still cause immense suffering, how might a renewed commitment to these ancient prohibitions help build a healthier, more harmonious society today?
A serious question for reflection, indeed.
Let's delve into something foundational to all human rights, the sacred value of life itself. Prophet Muhammad articulated this profound idea. Taking one life unjustly is like harming all of humanity. And alongside this, a huge emphasis on environmental care and cleanliness.
The Quran makes this incredibly clear. Whoever kills a soul, unless for a soul or for corruption done in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely.
Wow, that elevates individual life to an unprecedented level.
A universal imperative, a deep sacred reverence for every single human life. And the Prophet also taught resource conservation extensively, famously saying about water, do not waste water, even if you are on a flowing river.
A clear call for responsible stewardship, long before modern environmentalism, right?
Exactly. And before these teachings, life was often held cheap, especially outside your own tribe. Retribution, violence were common, little formalized environmental thought. Resources often exploited carelessly. Blood feuds were common.
But this principle shifted perspectives on conflict, justice, the value of life.
Fundamentally, making preservation of life paramount, laid the ethical and legal groundwork for human rights in Islamic law, protecting every individual. And his teachings on cleanliness, hygiene became integral, daily practice, contributing massively to public health, a powerful form of preventive medicine.
What's really insightful is that integration of respect for life with environmental consciousness.
Shows a holistic worldview, human well-being linked to the planet's health, responsible management. We're stewards, not just consumers.
And these principles are crucial today. Conflict resolution, human rights, ethical use of force.
Absolutely. Emphasizing the ripple effect of individual actions and the advice on water conservation, cleanliness, more relevant than ever with ecological challenges, climate change, ancient wisdom aligning with modern goals.
So for you listening, this is a powerful call to consciously value every life. Practice mindful stewardship of your environment. Even simple acts like saving water.
That teaching on the sanctity of life, it was a cornerstone for developing a sophisticated legal system, protecting individuals, preventing aggression. And cleanliness, tahara, it extends beyond physical hygiene to spiritual purity. The outer reflects the inner.
This interconnectedness of life and environment really makes you ask, how can we in our modern world deepen our practice of life sanctity and environmental responsibility, recognizing how interconnected everything is?
A vital reflection for our shared future.
Okay, let's talk about something simple but powerful. The greeting of salam. Prophet Muhammad turned this everyday act into a cornerstone of community building, a direct message of peace, goodwill, brotherhood.
He explicitly instructed, spread peace among yourselves. More than just saying hello, an active command to foster a culture of peace.
And the Quran endorses it too.
Yes, but when you enter houses, greet one another with a greeting from Allah, blessed and good, elevates it to a divine blessing, a conscious act of worship and connection.
And in that tribal society marked by suspicion, greetings could be tense or just absent between rival groups.
Exactly, no universal symbol of goodwill that transcended tribal lines easily.
So salam, peace be upon you, became this fundamental part of interaction.
Absolutely, an immediate, clear declaration of peaceful intent, fostering trust, brotherhood even with strangers. A social lubricant, breaking down barriers, disarming suspicion, encouraging cordiality.
What's remarkable is how this simple act became such a powerful tool for building a cohesive society.
Not just politeness, it symbolized mutual respect, a shared commitment to harmony, an initial guarantee of peace, signaling you approach with goodwill.
And millions worldwide still use this greeting daily, fostering connection.
Instantly, whether in a mosque, a market, across continents. And the underlying principles offering peace, well wishes, they remain universally relevant for promoting positive interactions anywhere.
So for you, the listener, it's a reminder to consciously choose words and gestures that extend peace and goodwill, transforming simple hellos into meaningful connections.
Salam brilliantly integrates spiritual values, peace from Allah, with practical social behavior, shows how faith shapes daily interactions. It's a proactive step towards de-escalation, building bridges, setting a positive tone.
Which makes you think, in our fast-paced, sometimes disconnected world, how might intentionally spreading messages of peace, even in small ways, contribute to a more harmonious, trusting society?
Small gestures can have big impacts.
Now, let's explore an ingenious innovation. Community centers, exemplified by the mosques, and not just for worship, but vibrant hubs of social interaction, learning, collective care, the beating hearts of society.
He taught the immense spiritual reward for attending mosques consistently. Whoever goes to the mosque, Allah prepares for him a hospitable reception in paradise, encouraging engagement, belonging.
And the Quran clarifies who maintains them.
Yes, the mosques of Allah are only to be maintained by those who believe in Allah and the Last Day and establish prayer and give zakah. Links mosque care directly to genuine faith, social responsibility, defines the active community member.
And before Islam, there wasn't a single hub uniting diverse tribes, providing a consistent meeting point for everyone.
Not really. Communities were fragmented, lacked that common physical and spiritual space for collective engagement beyond specific tribal gatherings.
But the Prophet, he established mosques as multifunctional centers.
Masterfully done. Beyond prayer, there were places for education, consultation on community affairs, welfare distribution, even temporary lodging, and the 5 daily prayers in congregation. Brilliant.
How so?
It instilled this regular habit of social interaction, collective responsibility, strengthened bonds, ensured people connected regularly, fostered mutual support.
So this innovation created a cohesive space, fostering unity, identity, support.
Exactly. Transformed isolated individuals into an integrated community. A masterclass in community organization, way ahead of its time.
And today, mosques globally still function as dynamic community hubs.
Absolutely. Offering learning, events, social support education, youth programs, food banks, counseling. The principle of a central community hub remains powerful for fostering cohesion, collective action anywhere.
So for you listening, the takeaway is to actively seek out and participate in community centers. Whatever kind brings people together, fosters shared values, encourages mutual care.
Build those vital connections in your own life. The mosque served as this prototype for integrated community development, spiritual, educational, social needs met under one roof. And the regularity of prayers prevented isolation, a built-in support system.
Which raises that vital question for our digital age. How crucial is it to maintain and nurture physical community spaces for that genuine sense of belonging and collective responsibility?
The need for physical connection hasn't gone away.
Now let's turn to a critical foundation, an equitable system of justice. Prophet Muhammad established a legal framework demanding absolute equity, especially for the weak, a standard of fairness truly ahead of its time.
The Quran commands an unparalleled standard. O you who have believed, be persistently upholders of justice, witnesses for Allah, even if it be against yourselves or parents and relatives.
Even against yourself or your family.
Yes. Whether one is rich or poor, Allah is more worthy of both. So follow not personal inclination, lest you not be just. An incredibly powerful directive for impartial justice, demanding absolute integrity.
And he warned judges about their responsibility.
Sternly. Judges are three, one in paradise and two in the fire, underscoring the grave accountability. They must rule with utmost fairness, uphold truth above all.
And pre-Islamic justice was often skewed. By tribe, wealth, power, the vulnerable had little recourse.
Often, yes, no standardized system to protect those without strong ties. Favoritism, corruption, arbitrary rulings were common, leading to injustice, instability.
But his teachings established a robust system, protecting the weak orphans, divorcees, widows.
Actively protected them. A system meticulously designed so justice was accessible to all, regardless of status or wealth, laying the groundwork for a truly equitable society, a radical departure.
The most radical part seems to be upholding justice even against oneself or close relatives.
Absolutely. Demanded unprecedented integrity, impartiality, moral courage, placing truth and fairness above personal ties, loyalty, self-interest, unequivocally.
And these principles still inform legal systems today. Advocate for fairness, protecting the vulnerable.
Profoundly. The commitment to the rights of orphans, divorcees, widows remains a powerful call to action for social advocacy, legal reform today, an enduring legacy.
So for you listening, it's a call to always advocate for fairness, question injustice, ensure the voices of the vulnerable are heard and protected in your own sphere.
The Islamic justice system isn't just punitive, it's fundamentally restorative. Aims to reestablish balance, protect rights, foster harmony, a comprehensive view. And being a witness for Allah elevates truth to a spiritual act, overcoming personal bias for fairness.
It makes you wonder, in a world where access to justice is still unequal, how can that unwavering commitment to justice for the vulnerable inspire us to build more genuinely equitable systems?
Learning from that steadfastness is key.
Prepare for an extraordinary insight. Prophet Muhammad's teachings weren't just rules. They provided a complete, comprehensive system of guidance, literally from birth to death, touching every single aspect of human existence. This is where it gets really interesting.
The Quran makes individual accountability clear. Every soul, for what it has earned, will be retained. Establishes deep personal responsibility for choices, actions, empowering individuals.
And he taught about our innate nature.
Yes, every child is born on fitra, natural disposition, asserting an inherent goodness, purity, potential, an uncorrupted state the teachings aim to awaken, guide, cultivate throughout life.
And before that, life was often fragmented. No overarching framework guiding people through all stages: family, governance, peace, war.
Often disconnected, yeah. Leading to inconsistency, moral ambiguities, lack of coherent purpose sometimes.
But his teachings offered explicit guidance on everything.
Very much. Family rights and responsibilities, rules of commerce, governance principles, ethics of warfare, peace treaties, personal hygiene, spiritual development, a coherent, organized, purposeful structure for human life, ensuring consistency, moral clarity across all domains.
What's extraordinary is how this framework ensured every action, every decision could be aligned with a higher purpose, a moral code.
Exactly. Unparalleled clarity and organization for individual and communal life, bringing profound meaning and structure.
And millions today benefit from this holistic guidance, navigating life's complexities with clear principles.
Absolutely. For those seeking meaning, purpose, structure, it offers this powerful model for intentional, principle-driven living, a detailed roadmap.
So for you listening, it's a call to reflect. How can you bring more intentionality, more principle-driven decisions into every aspect of your own life? Relationships, work, everything.
Create a more integrated, meaningful existence. This guidance from birth to death shows the all-encompassing Islamic worldview. Spiritual and worldly matters aren't separate, they're integrated, each enriching the other. And Fitra suggests we're naturally inclined towards good. The teachings guide us to actualize that potential.
It makes you ask, in a world searching for purpose and meaning, how might a holistic system covering every aspect of life help us cultivate a more integrated, fulfilling existence?
Finding that coherence is a deep human need.
Get ready for a profound image of global unity. Let's explore the annual pilgrimage of Hajj, a magnificent manifestation of brotherhood, equality, shared purpose established by Prophet Muhammad, bringing people together from every corner of the earth.
The Quran extends that universal invitation. And proclaim to the people a Hajj, they will come to you on foot and on every lean camel. They will come from every distant pass, open to all capable individuals, transcending barriers.
And pilgrimage before Islam existed, but it was different, tied to tribal gods, rivalries, reinforced hierarchies.
Often, yes, lacked that universal message of unity and equality he would instill.
So he transformed Hajj into this powerful symbol of global brotherhood, transcending race, nationality, wealth, status.
Profoundly. Pilgrims wear simple, identical white garments, ihram, symbolizing absolute equality before God, visually, experientially erasing worldly differences. An intentional act of humility, solidarity.
What's awe-inspiring is seeing millions performing the same rituals in unity. It becomes this living demonstration of Tawheed, oneness, and equality.
A profound, practical demonstration, literally eliminating superficial discrimination, creating this overwhelming sense of shared purpose, identity, a living testament on a global scale.
And millions travel to Mecca today, experiencing that unity, fostering global bonds that transcend politics.
Experiencing it firsthand, Hajj offers this powerful, immersive lesson in global citizenship, universal human experience, reminding us of our common humanity, shared spiritual journey.
So for you listening, the source highlights that Hajj fosters immense brotherhood. It's a call to reflect on how you can actively participate in or support initiatives that bring diverse people together, break down barriers, foster shared humanity, just like Hajj does globally.
Hajj isn't just personal, it's a collective sociological event, visually, experientially reinforcing unity, equality, submission to God. A powerful antidote to tribalism, nationalism, constantly reminding believers of their shared identity, universal purpose.
Which makes you think, in an era often marked by division and nationalism, how can the ancient wisdom of Hajj inspire us to build a more connected, compassionate world?
Drawing on that spirit of unity is crucial.
Let's explore a practice with incredible benefits for body and soul, Ramadan and fasting. Prophet Muhammad, a key, emphasized this as a powerful tool for self-discipline, empathy, spiritual purification.
The Quran states the purpose clearly. O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting, that you may become righteous. To develop God consciousness, taqwa, that continuous awareness leading to greater morality, mindfulness.
And while other cultures had fasting, Ramadan was different. Communal, spiritually focused for a whole month.
Not a regular feature like this before Islam, no. Pre-Islamic society could be more self-indulgent, lacked that collective discipline.
So fasting in Ramadan became this cornerstone.
Of spiritual and physical discipline for the whole community, profoundly taught empathy for the hungry, enhanced self-control, willpower, brought spiritual cleansing, encourages intense reflection, gratitude, deeper connection with the divine, and offers physical health benefits science is now recognizing.
What's insightful is it's not just about abstaining from food and drink.
No, it's seen as comprehensive training for the soul, the self, cultivating patience, perseverance, empathy, heightened awareness of blessings and responsibilities, invaluable life skills, personal growth beyond just observance.
And millions globally observe it, feeling its benefits, fostering community.
Yes, experiencing it spiritually and physically, often through collective meals, prayers, and modern science validating intermittent fasting affirms that ancient wisdom.
So for you listening, you can draw from this tradition, even if you don't fast for the month. How?
Consider small, intentional acts of self-discipline. Mindful eating, digital detoxes, quiet reflection. These can purify body and soul, enhance empathy.
Fasting is explicitly linked to developing taqwa, God consciousness. Shows spiritual growth needs self-restraint, mindfulness.
Exactly. And the collective nature, communities fasting together, breaking fast together, that strengthens social bonds, mutual support, transforms individual devotion into a shared experience.
Which makes you ask, in our consumer world of instant gratification, how can practices like fasting or similar self-restraint help us cultivate greater self-awareness, empathy, and spiritual depth?
Reclaiming that inner discipline seems vital.
Let's talk economic justice. Zakat administration. Prophet Muhammad established a mandatory charity system, a powerful mechanism for wealth redistribution, systematic eradication of poverty.
The Quran instructs, take from their wealth a charity by which you purify them and cause them to increase. Highlighting Zak purifies the giver, helps the recipient grow. Dual benefit.
And before Islam, huge wealth disparities. Rich got richer, poor struggled with no systemic support, charity was sporadic.
Often the case, yes. Persistent poverty, resentment, stagnation for many.
So zakat was institutionalized, obligatory annual payment.
Yes, typically 2.5% of accumulated wealth, distributed to specific categories: poor, destitute, debtors, travelers. Not voluntary charity, a fundamental right of the poor upon the wealth of the rich, a cornerstone of economic justice.
So it dramatically reduced inequality, supported the vulnerable, stimulated the economy.
Profoundly transformed the economic landscape. What's remarkable is Zakat created this robust social safety net, fostered economic equality by ensuring wealth was continually reinvested back into the community to alleviate poverty. Systemic, mandated obligation, far-reaching benefits beyond immediate relief.
And millions globally fulfill zakat today, contributing to welfare, poverty alleviation, community development.
Vast networks. Zakat offers this powerful model for ethical economic systems prioritizing social justice alongside wealth creation, sustainable, compassionate economics.
So for you listening, it's a call to reflect. How can you contribute to economic justice? Conscious giving, supporting ethical businesses, advocating for equitable systems.
Zakat isn't seen as just a tax, it's an act of worship. Links economic activity directly to spiritual accountability, communal responsibility, imbues finances with moral significance, fosters collective ownership, mutual care, addresses root causes of poverty.
Which raises the question, in a world with immense wealth disparities, how can the ancient institutionalized system of zakat inspire us to rethink our approaches to economic justice and poverty eradication today?
Learning from that systemic approach is critical.
Finally, let's explore a practical yet profound aspect, the emphasis on health and hygiene. Not just clean living, holistically protecting body and soul, recognizing their interconnectedness.
He famously taught, purity is half of faith. Elevates cleanliness from mere habit to spiritual imperative. Huge importance.
And the Quran outlines wudu, the ablution before prayer.
Yes. O you who have believed, when you rise to perform prayer, wash your faces and your forearms, and wash your feet. This daily practice, multiple times a day, ensured a remarkably high standard of personal hygiene.
And in ancient societies, hygiene was often rudimentary. Disease spread easily.
Often limited understanding, yes, leading to widespread illness, epidemics. Cleanliness wasn't always a universal practice. Unsanitary conditions were common.
But his teachings instituted comprehensive rules. Regular wudu, bathing, cleaning teeth, specific etiquette.
Yes, a systematic, integrated approach. Crucial for preventing disease, maintaining public health. Especially vital back then without modern sanitation or medicine.
What's insightful is the wudu for prayers, washing exposed parts multiple times daily.
A built-in public health regimen undoubtedly contributed to significantly better health outcomes, lower infection rates when diseases were rampant.
And the principles of cleanliness, hand washing, hygiene, universally recognized today.
Fundamental to health, proves the incredible foresight, and the connection between physical and spiritual purity inspires a holistic approach to well-being. Clean body facilitates focused mind, pure spirit.
So for you listening, it's a reminder to integrate intentional hygiene and mindful living into your daily routine, recognizing the impact on physical vitality and spiritual peace.
These teachings show a sophisticated understanding of preventative medicine. Daily hygiene integrate into religious ritual, making health a continuous act of devotion. Physical purity enabling spiritual readiness.
This holistic approach makes you wonder, in our quest for well-being, how can we draw inspiration from these ancient teachings? Cultivate a more holistic, intentional approach to health and hygiene, seeing them as integral to both body and soul.
Seeing that complete picture is key.
Wow. What an incredible, truly illuminating journey we've taken through the transformative teachings of Prophet Muhammad Kate, a message of mercy to all worlds. We've seen how these principles didn't just shape one faith, but fundamentally reshaped societies, championed justice, fostered unity, laid groundwork for countless advancements.
It's really quite something.
From the oneness of God to daily hygiene, global brotherhood to individual character. These teachings offered a complete blueprint for a life of purpose, dignity, and peace.
The sheer depth and breadth are remarkable, aren't they? Offering actionable insights into human nature, societal harmony that remains so relevant today, timeless.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's a thought-provoking challenge for you.
Yeah.
Considering all the incredible insights we've uncovered today, if you had to pick just one of these powerful teachings, just one, to integrate more deeply into your own life, or maybe share with someone else, which one would it be?
That's a tough choice.
And what positive ripple effect do you imagine that single choice might create in your life, your community?
Reflecting on that choice really reveals what resonates most with your own values, your current situation, your aspirations.
This deep dive, sourced from Nabi Akram Anki Talimat, Rahmatul-lil-Alamin Kapayam, has been such a powerful reminder of how profound wisdom echoes through centuries, offering guidance and inspiration for all of us. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration.
Thank you.
And I strongly encourage you,
Yeah.
keep diving deep into the knowledge that enriches your understanding of our incredible interconnected world.